Welcome to the presentation titled Between Genre and Aesthetic, the Case of Dark Academia. I'm thrilled to have you with me as we dive into this internet aesthetic and explore how it intersects with established literary genres. In today's digital age, book enthusiasts are exploring their favorite books and sharing their reading experiences on platforms like Goodreads, Instagram or TikTok. From bookstagram photos to lively book discussions and reviews on Goodreads, these social media spaces have become vibrant hubs for book lovers to connect and discover new titles. As an avid reader and internet user, I've observed a notable distinction in the way novels are categorized between the internet and academia. The internet employs a distinct language and a set of categories and emphasizes the aesthetic experience of a novel, focusing on what it feels like. The website aestheticfandom.com illustrates this phenomenon by listing numerous examples of so-called internet aesthetics, such as cottagecore, goblincore, whimsy gothic, or dark academia, to name just a few. Each of them may consist of several offshoots, such as in the case of dark academia, there's also light academia, chaotic academia, classic academia, or even romantic academia. The breadth and diversity of these internet aesthetics are not limited to literature alone. They encompass a wide array of creative fields, including visual arts, music, and graphic design. Caitlin Tiffany, a journalist for The Atlantic, in an attempt to define internet aesthetics, stated, and I quote, "At this point, the word aesthetic is totally divorced from its academic origins. But in broader internet parlance, it now means a collection of signifiers, or more precisely, a vibe." So the creation of internet aesthetics underscores how the internet culture thrives on evoking emotions, moods, and atmospheres, and how it has evolved to communicate and convey the essence of art beyond the traditional academic confines. In the mid-2010s, the dark academia aesthetic originated from Tumblr blogs, and recently it has seen a revival on social media platforms like Instagram or TikTok. This revival occurred in the midst of the COVID-19 pandemic, as many students found themselves stuck at home, yearning for the traditional campus experience, which often led to a romanticized view of university life. Dark academia is aesthetically defined by its use of dark colors, vintage interiors and clothing, moody study halls and libraries, and a certain ambience of melancholy that even contributes further to this romanticized view of higher education. The term dark academia itself refers not only to the dark color scheme, but also to its inclination to explore dark aspects of academia, including issues like ethically questionable or ambiguous professors and students and their choices, excessive workload which they face, toxic relationships, addictions, and mental health issues. Some popular themes include intellectualism, a quest for knowledge, academic ambition, and elements of mystery, and even murder. However, traditionally, it is not a vibe or aesthetic appeal of a book that is used to assign it to a given genre. The word genre refers to a type or sort of literary work encompassing categories such as epic, tragedy, lyric poetry, comedy, satire, novel, and short story, with various subgenres within each. These distinctions are often defined by factors such as literary techniques used, the tone, the content, or even the length. But they maintain a certain degree of flexibility, since nowadays the borders are quite flexible and loosely defined. The categorization of literary works can be quite nuanced. There are numerous novel subgenres, elements of which are clearly visible in novels identified by internet users as dark academia. The first of them that I'd like to take a look at is the so-called campus or academic novel. A campus novel is a genre of novels set within a university campus, featuring either students or faculty members as central characters. A certain distinction can be made between campus and academic novels because they can be either student-centered, focusing on the experiences of students, or faculty-centered, so delving into the lives of academics. Some notable examples include Pnin by Vladimir Nabokov, Possession a Romance by A.S. Byatt, On Beauty by Zadie Smith, or The Marriage Plot by Jeffrey Eugenides. Another novel genre which lends largely to dark academia aesthetic is the Gothic novel. Gothic novels are stories of mystery and horror which gained popularity in the 1760s and found their peak readership in the 1790s. They are named Gothic due to their creative inspiration being derived from medieval architecture. They significantly influenced the ghost story and horror by incorporating supernatural elements such as ghosts, apparitions, monsters, or curses. A typical Gothic setting includes elements such as desolate landscapes, dilapidated castles or abbeys with dungeons, secret passages, winding stairways, sliding panels, and a general atmosphere of doom. Protagonists in a Gothic novel often face challenging situations and try to solve a mystery, while at the same time facing a demonic, malevolent, or tyrannic antagonist. Some notable early examples include The Castle of Otranto from 1765 by Horace Walpole and The Mysteries of Udolpho from 1794 by Anne Radcliffe. It is interesting to note that a number of Gothic or Gothic-inspired novels like Mary Shelley's Frankenstein or Charlotte Bronte's Jane Eyre have been categorized as dark academia by members of Goodreads community, which shows a clear link between Gothic literature and the aesthetic of dark academia. Perhaps it is because these novels offer not only a dark and brooding atmosphere, but also a deeper layer of intellectual engagement and emotional resonance. Obviously, there are many other novel genres which are visible in novels categorized as dark academia, and these include science fiction, thriller, horror, historical novel, alternative history, crime fiction, fantasy, and Bildungsroman, that is a story about growing up. Let us now explore a selection of popular American novels that have been labeled as dark academia. It is important to note that this list is by no means exhaustive. These novels capture the essence of dark academia by delving into the dark, mysterious, and intellectual aspects of life within the backdrop of educational institutions, and they offer readers a chance to explore, among other themes, the complexities of human nature and the allure of knowledge. Donna Tartt's debut novel, The Secret History, published in 1992, has gained immense popularity as one of the most iconic examples of dark academia on social media. It is set in the fictional Hampton College in New England and recounts the experiences of a tight-knit group of students in a prestigious and selective classics program taught by the eccentric professor Julian Morrow. The setting is probably based loosely on Bennington College, where Tartt studied in the 1980s. The novel starts with the now famous quote that snow in the mountains was melting and Bunny had been dead for several weeks before we came to understand the gravity of our situation. Narrated by one of the students, Richard Papin, the novel unravels the events leading to the death of Bunny Cochrane and exploring the aftermath and the profound impact that Bunny's death, or murder, had on this isolated group, leading to its disintegration. Notably, the novel explores themes of privilege and elitism and the pursuit of knowledge, but also the question of loyalty within friendship and the limits of morality. It is also a really good example of a campus murder mystery. Similarly to The Secret History, If We Were Villains from 2017 by M.L. Rio revolves around the murder of a student of a fictional prestigious college called Delancey Classical Conservatory and follows a group of theatre students who reside in a dormitory that they refer to as the castle. With The Secret History, it shares not only the murder mystery and the inverted detective investigation, but also the prestigious and mysterious setting. Not every dark academia novel, though, relies on a murder mystery plot. Catherine House from 2020 by Elizabeth Thomas explores the lives of students of a prestigious liberal arts college hidden in the woods of Pennsylvania. The college offers students a very generous scholarship policy, an experimental curriculum, and boasts a host of successful and famous alumni. In return, the students need to spend all 3 years of their education there, completely separated from their families and from the outside world in general. Into this setting, the author introduces elements of science fiction and thriller with a dark and twisted plot of mind control and unethical human experimentations. The Ninth House from 2019 by Leigh Bardugo, on the other hand, introduces distinctive elements of dark fantasy and horror into a setting of an alternative and dark vision of Yale University. The novel takes inspiration from Yale's real secret societies, which in the novel wield dark magic, occult knowledge and power. The story follows Alex Stern, a Yale freshman who, despite being a high school dropout, is offered a full scholarship because of her ability to see and communicate with ghosts, or as she calls them, greys. Alex serves as a member of a society called Lethe, the Ninth House, which oversees the 8 secret societies called Houses of the Veil. The novel is followed by a sequel, Hellbent, published in 2023, and they are both interesting examples of not only dark academia aesthetics, but also a hybrid of campus and dark fantasy novel. Another interesting example is titled Babel, The Necessity of Violence, an arcane history of the Oxford Translators' Revolution. It was published in 2022 and written by R.F. Kwang. This novel is set in an alternate vision of 1830s in which Britain's imperial and economic power is fueled by the use of magically charged silver bars. The plot follows a group of students who are brought to Oxford University from their home countries because of their knowledge of little-known or exotic languages such as Arabic, Mandarin, or Haitian Creole. And they are educated in the production of the magic bars, which derive power from translating words of similar but not identical meanings between languages. When the students find out how exploitative this magical system is, they devise a plot to stop the production and use of silver bars and potentially contribute to the collapse of the British Empire. The novel is a great example of a campus novel and alternative history hybrid with elements of historical fantasy, which explores the subject of British imperialism. A dark academia novel does not need to be set in a university or college in order to possess a certain aesthetic quality. In the novel The Cloisters from 2022 by Kathy Hayes, the story unfolds within the confines of the Met Cloisters, a museum renowned for its collection of medieval and Renaissance European art. Upon her arrival in New York City, the protagonist, a college graduate named Anne, aspires to spend her summer working at the Metropolitan Museum of Art, but is unexpectedly assigned to the cloisters, where she works in a close-knit but very competitive group of researchers. Anne's life takes a turn when she stumbles upon a deck of 15th century Italian tarot cards previously believed to be lost. The novel can be classified as a blend of detective novel with elements of thriller and fantasy, and is a commentary on the pursuit of both knowledge and power, and toxic consequences of fierce ambition. To conclude, the dark academia novels discussed today all share common threads. They are student-centered tales set within moody academic environments and often transcend traditional genre boundaries while still relying heavily on the elements of the Gothic novel or the campus or academic novel. As we immerse ourselves in these narratives, we explore the darker aspects of academia, delving into themes that touch upon the pursuit of knowledge while unearthing the hidden desires for power and status. The advent of internet aesthetics, such as dark academia, helps establish expectations for readers regarding the atmospheric setting, recurring themes, and the overarching essence of these stories, creating an aesthetic appeal that captivates many generations of readers. Dark academia novels remind us that while literature may defy neat categorization, certain aesthetic appeal and themes continue to resonate with those who are drawn to the enigmatic allure of intellectual and academic intrigue. Thank you for your attention.